Monica Kleinman. Maiden name was Hutchingson, so Monica Hutchingson when I was there. I graduated in 1980 from Parkway West Senior High. I think the best memory I have is of a group of friends who I was with who were in many of the same classes, had many of the same great teachers, and just really had a great experience because we not only as were friends with each other, but really enjoyed the people at West, the teachers, the staff, everyone there, felt very close to them. And it was more like a big family than necessarily just school, teachers, students separated. We enjoyed being with each other and really had, I think, a good time both personally and professionally, if you will, as students. There were certainly teachers who influenced the way that I developed into a student, who influenced the way that I approached work and goals in general. Roland Klein was someone who was very influential in terms of motivating students to do the best that they could, to really think creatively and deeply, and to want to excel. He's one of the examples. Bob Buss was my math teacher. He had a wonderful way of having a competition we had the poets and the mathematicians. And the mathematicians, of course, were the people who liked math and science, and the poets were the people who liked English and history. And he sort of promoted that competition all year long, which used to end in a softball game at some point toward the end of the year. But he made math really, really fun. Well, I'm a physician. I specialized in pediatrics and then in pediatric intensive care, also known as pediatric critical care. It is an intense specialty. It's all hospital-based because it's all an inpatient type of specialty. And it's very much about teamwork. In addition to closely working with families and children, your team is an essential component of the system, meaning we don't do this on our own by ourselves. So one needs to have great communication skills, teamwork skills, and be very appreciative of all the people who contribute to what you do. I wouldn't say I would have any specific advice to go into this particular field, except if it's what you want to do, don't be discouraged by what people say nowadays about healthcare. It's still the best profession I could ever imagine being in. I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. Even though it's work, certainly, it's not just a job. It's a profession, and you have to like what you're doing in order to really make it work. So I would say, don't be discouraged by people who say, "Oh, I would never do that again. It's so hard. You're always fighting about money." Yes, that's part and parcel of what happens in any big institution, in any big system. But if that's what you want to do, you should do it. I think you need to recognize that you can be better by being part of a bigger group than just being an individual. We practice a lot doing mock exercises of critical situations, which we really need to do in order to be prepared, because they happen not every single day. One has to maintain a level of preparedness for them. What we say is that we need to take a team of experts and turn them into an expert team.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the analogy that I like to give people, is that you may be the smartest person in the world or be the best at one particular thing, but healthcare, and particularly intensive care, is a team sport. And you need to be able to recognize the value that everybody brings to the table and help coordinate all those talents for the best outcome of the patient. I'm not very much of an athlete. I like to watch baseball, particularly the Red Sox, of course. Sorry, shifted to the Red Sox. Right. Been in Boston more than half my life. So, in terms of hobbies, I would say my hobby right now is raising my child and enjoying all the things that he likes to do. He's 10 years old. He's into a lot of different things, and just being able to be with him and to help him enjoy his childhood and grow up is the best part. I'd say right now the thing professionally that I'm doing that I enjoy the most is working with the American Heart Association. which is an opportunity I got about 5 years ago to serve on a national committee to develop guidelines for pediatric resuscitation. And it's allowed me to travel extensively and interact with people in many areas of the world who I never thought I would have an opportunity to meet or work with. So it's really been the best thing that I've ever done. I've become a member of the organization and have moved into a leadership role within the Pediatric Resuscitation Committee. So I now chair that committee internationally and work with just a fantastic group of experts who every 5 years or so review all the science and all the literature and come up with new guidelines on how to do CPR and other types of resuscitation. And it feels great. It feels like you really make a difference. I think the most mischievous thing I ever did was when it was our year to graduate. There was a rock formation in the stadium that around the track where they held football games and other sports events, and it was in the form of 1979, and every year that it got changed. And shortly before we graduated, this same group that I used to enjoy hanging with went there one night, and we changed the rock formation ourselves to 1980 in preparation for graduation in the evening, stealthily, without necessarily having permission to do so, but we were very proud of ourselves.